Judge Joe Brown's all-new barbecue sauce and seasoning. Justice in the form of flavor.
Law firms will take this as a retainer.
What? It must be a law firm where they hungry as hell. Now you gonna help me with this parole I'm dealing with?
Judge Joe Brown's all-new barbecue sauce and seasoning. Justice in the form of flavor. With one taste of our premium blends of all-natural ingredients, herbs, and spices, you'll fall in love with meat all over again. Judge Joe Brown's all-natural barbecue sauce collection is made up of 2 zesty flavors, original and spicy. There's only one way to bring order back to barbecuing. Just add Judge Joe Brown's all-natural barbecue sauce and seasoning, and you be the judge.
Hi, I had to check to make sure I wasn't muted. Good evening, everybody. First of all, let me say this. I need to actually stop procrastinating and find someone to create me an intro video. I need a 10-minute intro video or 5-minute. Maybe I just create it myself. However, welcome. It's Wednesday. I do a live show every Wednesday. Like I said, I may incorporate more evening live shows, but I'm here Wednesday talking about the migrant crisis. And I have a special guest. I'm waiting for him. So, he should be coming up shortly. And it is Mr. Mark Carter. He is an activist. Well, first of all, he is a Chicago native. And he is a grassroots activist in Chicago. He didn't just become one yesterday. He's been an activist in Chicago for decades, right? I spoke to him probably for a good 10 minutes today. And within that 10 minutes, so much information that I didn't know, and they're not hiding this information. We're not just going to the right places to get it, and we could just Google it. So without further ado, well, right before I bring him up, because I do see him. Hey, Mark. Guys, please like and share this video. This is going to be a good conversation, a great conversation, but very informative. Very informative. And I'm just going to let it be known right now, Mark, you're going to be my Chicago migrant crisis correspondent on my channel. So this is not going to be the one and only time you're going to see him here. So without further ado, let me make this bigger. Sorry. Hi. How are you?
How you doing?
Good. I'm doing good. So it's a lot we're going to talk about, but this is how I want to do it. I want to start from the present and then go to the past.
Cool.
But the first question I want to ask you, tell us, who is Mark Carter?
Chicago activist. I've been doing this for the last 25 years. So whether it's issues around housing, police shootings, long before Black Lives Matter to these organizations, we were on the streets combating these police shootings here in the city of Chicago. And anybody know about Chicago during those terrible 2000s, before there was access to cameras and social media and all those things, man, police were killing young people by the droves in this city. We saw countless murders, young people being killed. But the surprising thing was that we had the so-called leadership that was pretty much almost like covering up what was going on. And so we've been fighting those issues. When it comes to the construction industry, we've been there fighting back and forth, demanding that this construction industry be open to more than just the Italian mob or the Irish community or the Hispanic community, that Black people be included, because we pay just as much taxes as everybody else pays. And so construction or any other industry doesn't belong to quote unquote white people. No, it belongs to all taxpayers. But we've been seeing different when it comes to these industries. And so our job has always been, as men of the community, to demand that inclusion be a must.
So tonight's title is, Are Migrants Removing Black Americans? on in YouTube, I put African Americans for the YouTube algorithms because they're sensitive if you put black for some reason in the title. Let me see, 1 second. So are immigrants removing Black Americans in Chicago and throughout this nation?
Definitely, definitely. And anybody who believes that these are just some innocent group of people who are coming here for a better life, then I have a bridge to sell you, right? No, this is about um, uh, removing us, or like Dr. Claude Anderson say, this is about supplanting and supplanting us. That's what we're seeing across this country. That's why they started organizations like organizations and a coalition called Cities for Action. And everything that I'm saying here tonight, I would love for your audience to get their pen and paper if you don't have it. If you want to give them a couple minutes to get a pen and paper or some type of way to keep record of this information so they can go back and research it, please, let me know. Because everybody across this country needs this information. It's going to be shocking, the things that they're going to read and find out. And so the short answer, yes, not just here in Chicago. And in order to combat what's going on, we have to sit down with all of America and we have to push the American agenda. And right now, the American agenda is only being pushed out of the Republican Party. No matter how you may feel about the Republican Party, they are America first. And there's only the only agenda second to the American agenda is the immigrant agenda. And after tonight, you're going to be very clear. Your audience is going to be very clear, crystal clear, that this immigrant agenda is real, and that in which we have been told to pay attention to the white supremacy, you're going to find out that it's immigrant supremacy, which includes certain groups of whites who are just as immigrant as Hispanics or just as immigrant as Africans and these other groups who are coming here to undermine and replace us.
So I kind of broke up. I want to break this conversation up in 3 segments. I want to talk about what's going on in Chicago today with the migrants. Segment 2 will be the public policy. So yes, people need to get their pens and paper and write, a few things down. And of course, the 3rd segment would be about the history of Chicago politically, and also the Black history of Chicago, right? But first, the migrant crisis today in Chicago, what is going on?
First and foremost, these are illegal immigrants, migrants. People migrate within the country that they're from. These are not asylum seekers. Asylum seekers are those who are in danger, their lives are in danger, they're running from the threat of death. These people are not asylum seekers either. When you're an asylum seeker, you don't come to America. So say you, for instance, right? You don't come to America for 5 or 6 months working, and then during that period of time, you're sending as much money possible back to the country that you were birthed in, right? And then after that 5 to 6 months, then you traveling from America, just say to Venezuela, then Venezuela back to America, and then back to Venezuela. No, you're not an asylum seeker. So these are illegal immigrants. These people are foreign invaders, and they need to be dealt with as foreign invaders who have broke the law that needs to be held accountable.
I muted myself, sorry. So what are you seeing right now in Chicago? Like, are they still a lot of illegal migrants at the precincts? Where are they still at the airport?
Yeah, they're at the airport. They're in the airports. They they put them up in a lot of these different churches that they're paying to look the other way while this mass immigration is going on. It's no different than when Joe Biden was in office and he enacted NAFTA, welfare reform, the crime bill, black leadership, took monies and looked the other way, right? So that's what you're seeing happening here in Chicago. So they're being housed in a lot of these churches quietly across the city or the airport or anywhere during this cold. The Standard Club, for example, which is right down the street from Senator Durbin's office and the federal building. And so they're allowing this stuff to happen under this Democrat Party. And so if we don't do something about this, this is going to overload and overrun these cities that we're in. No different than it did in Cali, New York, Florida, Minnesota, and all those places.
But we've never seen an influx of illegal migrants this massive in this nation, number one, and I'm Chicago, number two. Am I wrong? Because we're seeing this, we're seeing them coming in here on the bus loads in real time, and it's nonstop. So
they're here because we are no longer acquiescing to the blue no matter who agenda. And so they need a new voting bloc, as well as they're accommodating them by making them the workforce of America. This is their way of getting around having to deal with us and to attract these people to come in. And so pay attention to the way that they are putting these people to work, giving them access to banks, giving them access to loans to buy homes, as well as expand businesses and start businesses. And so, man, look, these people are here to replace us. Don't let anybody tell you anything other than that. And even the Black Democrats of California, who thought that they were part of this progressive movement, these liberals, these Democrats, and in the end, they got rid of them. The Hispanics that took over those areas in Compton and Watson, places in LA County, and they didn't keep those who thought that they were part of the Democrat Party and part of the agenda. They got rid of them too.
So in Chicago, how is this affecting the Black residents first? And how is it affecting all other residents? Like, is there a difference? But how is it affecting Black residents in Chicago?
Well, it's affecting all of us as American citizens, but mainly for us who have dealt with unemployment higher than depression. We've dealt with homelessness issues. We've dealt with public housing access issues. And now that these people are coming over, they're just pouring it all on them. And so never mind all the problems that Black people are already having. And now to bring another group in and everything that we've been demanding and marching and fighting for, you automatically roll out the red carpet to these people. And it's not only hurting our community, it is going to cause violence to explode even more than it is now. And they're being warned that this is going to happen, but they're not listening. And I've come to the conclusion to understand that they don't care, from the mayor to the governor, to the county board president, to the president of the United States of America. And so we're not going to sit back and wait for things to explode, and then another crime bill comes down to mass incarcerate Black people, so that the sympathizers can feel good about taking care of the very people who are pushing Americans to the side. And so because of that, we are meeting with the Republican side. We're not going to wait. And so, like I say, what we're doing now is working to slate candidates under the Republican Party. And we would urge that everybody in their city, after this primary, do the same in your city. Because the Democrat Party, no matter how many votes you give to them, how much love you show to them, they are going to cross you in the end. It happened in California. It happened in New York, Florida, Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota, to be exact, where you have Ilhan Omar, who's a refugee. We talking a refugee is a congressman. That should be a threat to national security. A refugee is mayor, also of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And so for us, hey, it don't get more America first than the Republican Party. And we're not getting with them to run our candidates from amongst them. No, these are candidates that we've chosen from amongst us, and that we mutually agree that we need to all stick together and stay at these conversations and actions around and against this mass immigration. Because like you say, this has never happened where they brought so many people into America. And so that should be the that should turn the red light on, turn the light on in your head, that it's something bigger than just a few immigrants coming to the country. This is bigger than that. And we know that it's about the voting bloc as well as the workforce.
Crime increased in Chicago by 11,000% within third or fourth quarter of last year. and it is due to the illegal migrants. Venezuela, it came out that they had emptied out a lot of their prisons and allowed for those prisoners to join a caravan. It is a straight shoot of Venezuelan gang members coming into Chicago. I guess it was already gangs there, but increasing that when you're talking about moving drugs, guns. So crime increased, more thefts, cars and stuff like that. But it seemed like Black people have gotten this negative stereotype stigma, particularly in Chicago, that they commit all these crimes and the city never came up with any type of remedy or solution. But now, because we're going to get into the public policy conversation, they have all these public policies. It's not just under this administration or Lightfoot. We're going to take it back to Ron Emanuel, but they have all of these programs, public policies to help economically uplift the illegal migrants while doing nothing for decades for the Black residents.
And so yes, just as you said, I mean, and let me say this before I go off into the next part, right? And when that violence spikes, and it is going to spike, and it did, and violence had already been at an all-time high even before Rahm Emanuel. So from Daley, since 1989 on up until now, from Daley to Rahm to Lori Lightfoot to now Brandon Johnson, they've always wanted to deal with our problems with locking it up, locking it out. No, they want to lock it up after they have locked it out, right? There's no well thought out, comprehensive plan like the Chicago New Americans plan that they have in place for these illegal immigrants, right? And so, I mean, this is something that just your listening audience need to do their research on. The Chicago New Americans plan, which is a comprehensive strategy and plan to accommodate these people with jobs, contracts, housing, home ownership, investment opportunities, educational resources, everything that we've been marching for since the civil rights days as a people. They are automatically giving it to these people. And that's up under the Chicago New Americans plan. And so please, listening audience, do your homework on the Chicago New Americans plan, because there's a plan in your city as well. Earlier today when we spoke, and I showed you that in every city, there's an Office of New Americans, right? Every city, there's an Office of New Americans. When you all look at that Office of New Americans, you're going to see, and the way to search it in your city is Office of New Americans plus the name of your city, county, and state. Let me say that again. Office of New Americans and the name of your city, county, or state, right?
I'm gonna actually share that screen in a second, because the money, it's almost $1 billion, if not $1 billion, since 2022 have been allocated towards the illegal migrants in Chicago alone. And if
just Chicago,
right,
they spent enough money to give reparations to Black people on illegal immigrants. Let me say that again for those who are reparationists that are listening. The Democrat Party, because this is led out of the Democratic Party, even though I'm pretty sure some of those votes had to come from the Republican Party, but because the Democrat Party controls the House, Senate, and White House, even if the Republicans don't even vote for the measures, they can pass it without Republicans, right? So the Democrat Party, just in Chicago alone, or I was speaking on nationwide, right? Nationwide has given enough monies and resources to the legal immigrant population to have paid out reparations, and not just the check, but land, as well as a plan of stabilization. The Chicago New Americans plan, just like the plan in your city, listening audience, is no different, right? Those plans are part of what would be in the package of reparations. When you read that plan is equivalent to what's called the back in the day, I mentioned it to you earlier today. The Freedmen's Bureau. When you look at the Freedmen's Bureau, everything in that Freedmen's Bureau is matches the Office of New American and the plan that's in your city. In our case, the Chicago New Americans plan.
I want to play this clip.
Okay.
Now the migrant situation only intensifying amid these Arctic temps.
And now Governor Pritzker offering millions of dollars to suburbs that agreed to house new arrivals.
Casey Cronus has the latest from the city's migrant landing zone.
The state announced $17 million in additional funding. More than half of that will go specifically to suburbs to support new arrivals living there. But here's the catch. The money cannot be used to transport those migrants to the city. As new arrivals grapple with another day of frigid weather, Governor Pritzker is announcing more funding for welcome centers, work permit applications, housing, and health care. Meanwhile, a group of Republican lawmakers is working on a legislative package to slow the arrival of migrants to Illinois.
We want to reverse the Trust Act so that local law enforcement can have conversations with federal authorities.
Just last week, Texas Governor Greg Abbott took to X, touting he's already transported over 100,000 migrants to sanctuary cities. On Sunday, Pritzker took out this ad in a Texas newspaper, asking Abbott to suspend his operation due to the weather.
You cannot say we're a sanctuary state, we're a sanctuary city, and say, but only during warm weather days.
New Lenox Mayor Tim Balderman says the state and federal governments are dropping the ball.
But it's really frustrating as a local official when our federal government and our state government are just ignoring our immigration laws.
Balderman was invited but is not planning to attend the now postponed meeting of the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus, called by Mayor Brandon Johnson to strategize. Mayor Johnson's office says it was canceled due to the extreme cold. It's unclear when that meeting will be rescheduled. To date, Chicago has welcomed nearly 35,000 migrants from the southern border. Reporting at Polk and Des Plaines, Casey Cronus, Fox 32, Chicago.
Okay. So I want to,
Let me get straight to it. I can guarantee you that he didn't postpone the meeting because of weather. He postponed the meeting because of participation. Nobody's going along with that kind of garbage in the state of Illinois. He cannot muster up enough mayors to go along with that. I hear one mayor outright told him that if you or anybody else bring illegal immigrants into my town, I'm going to lock up the illegal immigrants. I'm going to lock up whoever driving the buses. You know what I mean? And everybody else that has anything to do with it. And by this mayor saying this, hey, they are not driving the buses in that town. And that's what every mayor needs to be saying. This is going to deplete those little small towns if they go along with this. It's depleting big Chicago, who has big, deep pockets. So what do you think is going to happen to little small towns that have already been struggling? No matter what monies they bring these people, these little towns, it's going to hurt the existing people. You allow them to move into your home, which is what they're talking most people into. You better read the fine print, because you cannot push these people out of your homes. And they're speaking of within 2 years, you can't push them out. But we know that this is going to expand. You're not going to be able to get them out. And then the damage that these people coming from an uncivilized country can cause to your property. Be careful.
Maybe depreciate the property value.
Yes. You know what I mean? And so don't be fooled by this money. This money can cause you a lot of harm at the end of the day, right? Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I didn't want to cut you off. All right. So the public policies, I pulled up. Where you want me to start? Office of New Americans?
Sure. Well, start with yes. First, and then, can they see it on the screen?
I'm going to share it. So tell me which one you want me to.
So first, I would like everyone, because I know you probably have people from all over the country that's listening in, right? And so the first thing we want people to do is Google Office of New Americans and then press the word images. Google Office of New American and press the word images.
And let me make this bigger.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, we can see. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then press images.
All right, before I press images, right? Even when you Google Office of New Americans,
Mm-hmm.
New York, Colorado, Chicago, Virginia, New Jersey, Ohio. I gotta look at that.
So you don't even have to hit images because
Miami.
you can see, right. So you don't have to hit images. So we see just from you doing a search on it that this is multiple. You're gonna see multiple city, counties, and states that with that alone, without even having to press images, right? And so you can go to the next part, right? So you go to now. I would like for you to go to the Chicago New Americans plan, right? The Chicago New Americans plan. There you go. Now scroll back up to you get to that picture with Rahm Emanuel on it, and he's the first mayor that that really put this thing in motion. Now this was Barack Obama's ex-chief of staff. Go back up. Go back up right there. Read that second paragraph to your listening audience. Really, you can read the second paragraph on down to the last paragraph. But at some points, I'll stop you because I want to point out a couple of things. Mm-hmm. But read that second paragraph down to the bottom.
Immigrants in Chicago face unique challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so immigrants in Chicago face unique challenges and barriers to meaningful and successful integration to fully leverage the contribution of immigrants. Do me a favor, when you're not talking, mute, and so it won't hear the feedback. Yeah, and then when you want to talk, just unmute. I assemble an advisory committee comprised of 50 business, academic, civic, philanthropic, community, and immigrant advocacy leaders in Chicago.
Stop for 1 minute.
Okay.
So to your listening audience, remember that she just made mention of the 50 business, academic, civic, and philanthropic, and immigrant advocacy leaders, because you're going to see how all of the immigrant groups have come together and how all of the educational institutions, these corporations who are going to hire these people. Let me go back to the academic institutions, because these are the people who agreed to let these illegal immigrants come into their universities free of charge. With the struggle that Americans are having, you giving these people free education. You know, they're restructuring the whole education system where we used to have these magnet schools and these selective enrollment schools. They are dismantling that discriminative process to now open all of those schools with all those best resources to every immigrant. They can choose whatever school they want to go into. You can finish. Keep reading.
Keep reading. Okay. This committee was tasked with developing strategies to ensure that we support the creation and expansion of immigrant-owned businesses. Make sure you mute. That we develop, attract, and retain talent and expertise from other countries, and that we bolster Chicago's status as a vibrant and welcoming international city. The Chicago New Americans Plan outlines a set of initiatives the city will undertake in the next 3 years. The plan represents a fundamental commitment to immigrants. While other cities move to make themselves less welcoming towards immigrants, we choose to value their contributions, recognizing the importance of immigrants to our city's future. Should I read the rest?
That's pretty much it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to go back to the part where they talked about bringing immigrants from other countries, as if we don't have enough people here who are smart enough to take these positions. And see, they want you to believe that there's a work shortage. There's a shortage of workforce. That's not true. No, there's a discrimination problem that's happening at the hands of this Democrat Party. The Democrat Party does not want to engage in doing anything that will help Black people succeed. And this has been going on in the Democratic Party for the longest. It's just that our people didn't pay attention to it because they may have been getting grants, or they may received a few city jobs, or some type of concessions from government, welfare, Section 8. But the Democratic Party has always kept our people poor and on their knees. Johnson said that I would have them vote Democrat for the next 200 years. But what did he do? What did he use to do that? Little trinkets, trickling out resources just enough for those who are the poverty pimps to benefit, and then their job was to keep us asleep. And so I found more success by working with the Republican Party, because even though they've had their history, one thing I learned about dealing with this Republican Party is that they want you to be independent. Because in their minds, if you're not independent, then you're taking money out of their pockets. So cool, you know what I'm saying? I'm good with you being the racist party is telling me to go and become independent and build my own communities. That's a great thing. Segregation was not a bad thing. Integration is a bad thing, right? Segregation, we were more successful. We own more. Versus integration, where you would go to college, come home, and then go into white America, and never come back and build your community up. So there's something wrong with that picture where our people view success working for others versus building their communities more so than doing so. You know, and so I can more identify with a party that's pushing independence versus dependency.
All right, so I want you to orchestrate what do you want me to go to show people next, like, because just to let people know, and I need everyone, please hit the like button and share this video. This plan was from 2011, and this is when Rahm Emanuel was mayor. However, we're seeing this massive illegal migrants coming here under the Biden administration, because remember when Trump was president, he stopped them at the border and put them in the camps, and the media was trying to portray it like, you know, it was some prison cell slavery type thing, breaking up families. And no, he was just doing law and order, right? Following the law.
No, he saw that if you bring in tons of illegal immigrants, if you open that border, then just what you see happening now would have happened. He foresaw and knew that they would flood into the country and eventually become a bigger problem than they already are. And so even though this started with Rahm Emanuel, this plan was spread nationwide. It didn't stop with Rahm Emanuel. It rolled on into Lori Lightfoot. It also rolled into Brandon Johnson. And so, and keep in mind, everybody, this exact plan is being rolled out in your city. So again, if you're just coming in, please Google Office of New Americans with the name of your city, county, or state. Google Office of New Americans along with your city, county, or state, and you're going to find out the address where it's housed, as well as you know, what your plan read for your city. Now, pretty much what you're going to see is that with Chicago's plan being that it was the first plan, all of the other cities just followed Chicago's
framework. So that was the blueprint.
Yes, the blueprint. Chicago is the blueprint. And so,
I want to put a pin in that, because I don't want to. No, this is the segment for that. Chicago was a blueprint for this plan, just like Chicago was a blueprint for sanctuary cities under Harold Washington.
Yes, make no mistake about it.
Okay, so should we go to page 47 so you could help?
Well, before you go to page 40, 46, 47, and 48, I want you to go to page 6 of 52. It's either 6 or 7 of 52, because no, you're going too far.
Page 6.
Yeah, page 6 or 7 of 52.
Okay.
Okay, where it talks about our growth, our youth. You remember I showed you about our growth, our youth, right there. There you go. So if you can, read those first two lines. And so we're going to show you that they have removed red tape so these people can get loans, can open up businesses without any red tape. I mean, all of the steps that we've gone through to start a business in these cities, they have removed all of that red tape for these people. So go ahead.
Okay, so our growth over the last decade, mind you, this is in 2011, this plan. Over the last decade, Chicago has experienced below average growth in gross, for a second, in gross regional product, annual average wage, and population size. We will reverse this trend by lowering barriers to entry and growth for immigrant-owned businesses.
There you go. You can stop right there. And so when you look at that, like I said, they have opened the floodgates to these people so they're able to easily start businesses. They don't have to go through all these different steps. The city literally comes out to the communities that they're living in, walk them through the process. And then you go to this next part about the 100,000 jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is really going to blow the people's mind. And then the third part is going to blow the roof off of it because it is about the future of your children. So read that part about the 100,000 positions.
Okay, just press the mute button. The city can also improve its economic outlook by more effectively leveraging immigrant talent to fulfill workforce gaps. There were more than 100,000 unfilled positions in our city in 2011, a number that is expected to grow over the next decade. We will accelerate economic growth by training and attracting immigrants to fill these positions.
So in 2011, they agreed to give 100,000 positions because they say over the next decade that these jobs will be coming up. We already passed that next decade. That would have stopped at 2021. We at 2024 now. And so those 100,000 positions have already been doled out to the illegal immigrant population. And here's the kicker. Those job fairs that they had for those jobs as well as the corporations, because they all came in together to give these jobs to these illegal immigrants, right? They were under the same roof, right? These were private job fairs strictly for illegal immigrants. We're talking about city positions, y'all. The county was there too. You know what I mean? The state with CMS, all of them were there. But this plan here was just talking about the city. But all these different jobs were opened up to these people. They did not include Americans, no Americans, white, black, or whatever, to these jobs, to open it up for them to participate in these job fairs. These people didn't have to fill out applications. They had to do they didn't have to do any of that. They had the jobs prior to. All they had to do was show up, and they gave them the jobs. Later on, they filled out the application. Later on, they came back with their city key ID that they didn't have prior to going to these job fairs. And so under the city key program, it's basically an ID that gives them access to banks and all this kind of stuff. And eventually, I predict that it's going to give them access to be able to vote. Now, the last part is about, and pay close attention to this, because this is about your children's future. You're about to see that they have eliminated the future of your children. And I'm saying this to say, after hearing this, if you don't begin to organize to go against this mass immigration, then whatever happens to your children, you have to blame. You have nobody to blame but yourself, because you know better at this point. If you are on this live listening to us at this point, you are very much aware of what's going to happen to your children's future.
Okay, mute up for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Our youth, to attract top employers and create jobs for all residents, our city must have skilled, educated workforce. Immigrant children will make up the next generation of Chicago's workforce. 37% of all children in Chicago come from families with immigrant parents, but immigrant children face various challenges. They often need language assistance. They are less likely to be enrolled in early childhood education programs, and their parents at times struggle to engage with schools. We will support immigrant children by investing in their education, which will in turn benefit all Chicagoans by preparing our next generation workforce. basically all the programs here that they listed that they're going to be providing, and they use the word immigrants, but it's really illegal migrants.
Yes, and we talking comprehensively. That means that every resource known to man. And see, when you go to those bills, those House bills, when you think of HR 1308, HR 1308, which is the New Deal for New Americans, right? This basically merges into what you just read, right? Every resource is being given to these people. No different than what happened after the Depression, where they used every resources under the New Deal to stabilize white America. We didn't get a chance to participate, and now they've skipped over us and now created a new deal for new Americans. Now, if nothing else will catch your attention, just the name alone, New Deal for New Americans, Office of New Americans. I mean, they're telling you what they're going to do. And you still sitting back, it ain't that bad, you know what I mean? Well, ask the people in California when they thought the same thought, did it turn out to be that bad?
Right.
Ask the people in Florida and New York, did it turn out to be that bad? I'm telling you emphatically, and you can bring the president on here, and I will read him his rights on this. I will break it all down to him that you are engaging in this. This is clear that you are. They talk about critical race theory. You know what I'm saying? This is critical race replacement that's going on.
Yes.
Okay?
They're distracting us.
They're not just the replacement theory. They are the replacement fact that this is going to happen to our people, right? And every bill that they are introducing in Congress around immigration, the Black congressmen are co-sponsoring these bills. These bills are fashioned and shaped and molded to get rid of you. Okay,
right.
And so when you look at, I really want you to go
back. I'm gonna go. Okay, I'll go back to the other one.
The essential workers bill because I want people to know that they didn't bring these people here to pick tomatoes, y'all. And you about to see it. The bill that she's gonna pull up, which is HR 1909, right? HR 1909, and please write this stuff down and go do your homework on it because you're not going to be able to remember all this stuff, right? And so HR 1909, which is the Essential Workers Act, it is going to give you the list of jobs that they started out giving these illegal immigrants during the pandemic. And then said because they worked during the pandemic, while they told you to go in the house, because they worked during the pandemic, that they would have given them accelerated path to citizenship.
All right, so before we get into that, what else you want me to go to? Page 46, 47?
So, page 45, 46, and 47, or it's either it may be 45, 46, and 47, or 46, 47, and 48. But hey, stop at that page right there. Stop right there. Now you see how it reads when Chicago. Okay. Expand it out so that I can see it. Then I'll be able to point at this part right here. Now, for your children that would love to go into STEM education, people, it says when Chicago becomes a more attractive city to high-skilled foreign-born workers, the city would benefit greatly. Now, what's right across from that? Because I can't read that part where it say the city would benefit greatly. What does it say when you go across there?
Which one? When Chicago
about the 100.
Okay, so help immigrants own businesses flourish.
No. Where it says for every 100 additional high-skilled foreign-born worker.
Okay. So when Chicago becomes a more attractive city for high-skilled foreign-born workers, for every 100 additional high-skilled foreign-born workers who work in science, technology, engineering, or math fields, 260 jobs could be created for U.S.-born workers.
Now, what you see them doing, and when you're talking about STEM, those are the jobs that turns into technology, right? When you educate children in STEM, that education turns into the technological jobs, right? Mm-hmm. And so the wave of the future is technology. So if you are educating children from out of the country and not American children, hey, what is your plan? It can't be anything other than to replace our people, right? Read that last line when Chicago, when it comes down to the children, and you mentioned that in the last on the last page when you read it. So when it say when Chicago increases, what it say?
Increases immigration participation in early childhood programs. For every dollar invested in early childhood education, Chicago could save $7 in government spending.
Now watch this. When it came to Black America, they spent $7 so they could destroy you. And social service corporate America, which include a lot of our own people, took part of that $7 that was being spent to destroy you, and knowingly and willingly took part in it. And so they're saying for every $1 they spent helping illegal immigrants, then it would cause upward mobility. But the government used $7 to destroy our children. So they were willing to spend more money so that 40 years on up until now would have had the results that they were looking for, which was to destroy us. And so, again, this is about us reading the information, digesting it, sharing it with as many people as we know, organizing around saying that we're not going to allow this to happen to us and our children for the next 30, 40 years. I mean, in 20 years, we'd be old people.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I would be 70 years old in 20 years, right? And so,
yeah, we're the same.
Yeah, I'll be 70 years old. And so if we don't lay the foundation now for these babies, the same problems we dealt with 20 years ago are going to be the same problems that they deal with when they become parents and then start going into becoming grandparents when we're long gone. And so it is unconscionable that as a man that I would share this information, stand up for our future, stand up for our women and children. I wasn't put here to just take care of me. And I say that because a lot of these people who knowingly and willingly participate in the destruction of our people, knowingly and willingly participating in bringing these immigrants into these countries, in this country, knows what's going to happen and don't care. And so go to that page, I think it's page 46, 47, or 48, or 52, or either 40, there it is. There it is. Now, go back one more page. Go back one more. Go back to the top. Okay, right there where it reads. Now, if you all remember, she read about the 50 business, academic. He said he assembled a committee of 50 business, academic, civic, philanthropic. You know what I mean? Now you're seeing that. And if you look at the names of these organizations by ethnicities, right? You don't even have to look at the corporations first. Just look at the name of the organization. Bring it over a little bit so they'll see the names. So they see the names of the organizations, not the individuals. Expand it out so they can see.
Oh no, this is the name, and then there's an organization.
Right. Forget the names. I just want them to see the names of the organizations.
Oh, like
I
this.
want them to be able to break it out based on that, and I expand it out. Now, if you look at the names of these organizations, you can see the Illinois Coalition of Immigrant and Refugee Rights, right? Scroll up. Central Sin Fuentes, those are Hispanic. Little Village Chamber of Commerce, Hispanic. Asian American Institute. The South Asian American Policy and Resource Institute. Latino Progresendo. The United African Organization. The Polish American Association. And all the rest of these groups, y'all see that all the what I'm showing you all with that committee, go to the next page, with that committee that was set up, all of these immigrants joined forces with one another. The Korean American Association of Chicago, the Muslim Women Resource Center, the Council on American Islamic Relations, what else? What other organization that we can say by ethnicity? Remember, so now you got what is the Africa International House, and so what we're showing you is all of these immigrant groups under Rahm Emanuel, who is a Jewish immigrant, a child of Jewish immigrants. Don't forget that. The Jewish community is just as much of immigrants as the African community, the Caribbean community, the Hispanic community, and so they all have a camaraderie amongst each other. Never forget that. They are joined at the hip because of immigration, and that's why I make the distinction between the American agenda and the immigrant agenda, right? And so at the end of the day, as immigrants, even if they're from Africa, you just saw, you see it right now, Africa International House. Africans are not on the team with us. They're on the team with the other immigrants. And that's why I say for political purposes, don't call me no African American. I am not an African American. For political purposes in this country, I know the role that Africans are playing in the demise of our people. No different than Hispanics did in California, no different than Cubans and Dominicans or whoever did in Florida, you know. And just like the Africans that are in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the Somalis, all these people are working together with one another. Now go to those who were interviewed, because you have to pay attention to those groups. You remember I showed you that coalition where they outright said that they were in a coalition. And see, y'all, in America, you may say because these countries are warring factions with one another that they don't work together. In America, they work together. And so when you look at that coalition, right, read off the coalition that I showed you earlier, who are all coalescing with one another.
Here, right? So you have
the coalition of Africa.
Yeah, where was that at? Immigrant Youth Justice League.
You don't have to read off of it. I'm talking about
okay, coalition. Oh, this one here. So it says World Business Chicago, Del Assi, right? Coalition of Africa, Arab, Asian, Europe, and Latino immigrants of Illinois. So that's all together. African, Arab,
Asian, but what's right up under them though? Who's right up under them?
Under Chicago.
Right up under that coalition you just read.
Chicago Council of Global Affairs.
The Jewish United Fund and the Jewish
this one again. I skipped. Yes, Jewish United Fund, Jewish Federation of Metropolitan Chicago.
Now stop. So now, when you start looking at who's part of the orchestrating of this plan, you're gonna find the Jewish community is deeply rooted in this mass immigration plan that's coming into this country. Those mass groups of immigrants that are coming to this country. These are the people behind this whole move. And those other organizations are at the table with them. No group is bigger than the other. They are complicit. They're not being used. So stop letting them tell you that they're being used. No, they are willing participants at these tables to undermine some places to plant us. No different than if you go back to the 20s, when Lucky Luciano became the head of the Italian mob, his partner was who? Meyer Lansky. What is Meyer Lansky? A Jew. Okay? And so these people have been working together under this immigrant plan forever. We the ones that don't get it because we think that we're Democrats. We think that these other people love us. We want to integrate. They're not interested in integrating with you. The only integration they want, only integration that they agree upon and interested in is you integrating your dollar into their pockets. That's it. Outside of that, you don't see them helping build a damn thing when it comes to our communities across this country.
Should we go to the HR bill?
Yes, HR 1909. And if you have a way for your audience to ask questions, you know, I want to know
if you guys, well, this is the thing. So if you want to ask a question, you could send a super chat or put a Q with the question. I'll look and I'll pin it. And then towards the end, I'll answer all the questions. Also, I could drop the link if people want to come up on the show and ask you a question as well. I could do that too.
Yes, I would love that.
Okay, so I'll do that. And also, I want everybody, please hit the like button so this could be pushed out in the algorithm. Let's get to over 500 likes. So hit the like button and share this YouTube video. And hi, everybody on Twitter. Please retweet it on Twitter as well, on X. All right, so let me make this a little bigger. All right.
Yeah. So if you scroll up, and we don't have, go to text if you're not.
What's this thing here? I don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want this. I don't know why.
Yeah, but you're gonna scroll up anyway. You're
Yeah.
gonna scroll up anyway. So when you scroll up, remember the Essential Workers Act is a bill that was introduced about a month after Joe Biden was elected, or a month or two?
Yeah,
What was that? In March. So we talking 2 months after Joe Biden was elected, right? 2 months after Joe Biden was elected, this bill was introduced. And this is the third bill, because the first bill was introduced just maybe 7 or 8 days after Joe Biden was elected, which is the National Office of New Americans, right? But this bill is one that I really want people to pay attention to, because this is the bill that talks about the transfer of jobs from American citizens to illegal immigrants, right? Now, most people think that when they hear about illegal immigrants, oh, they just came here to do jobs that don't nobody want to do, that's garbage, first and foremost. Secondly, oh, these people are just picking tomatoes. Well, scroll up so they can see what jobs that they're giving these people and that they gave them during the pandemic.
Let me just unmute. So it says here, real quick, adjustment of status for essential workers. Okay, so what is this? What did I read earlier? Was this? Oh, you had me read this part. Satisfies the eligibility requirements.
No, it was actually go up a little bit, right above. Okay. Read that paragraph and then name all the different jobs that they opened up to them during the pandemic.
Aliens working in certain sectors, industries, and occupations, except as provided in paragraph 2, the alien shall have at any point during the period described in subsection earned income for work in any of the following private, public, or nonprofit sectors, industries, or occupation: healthcare, emergency response, sanitation, restaurant ownership, food preparation, vending, catering, food preparing, food services, delivery, hotel or retail, fish, poultry, meat processing work, agricultural, including labor that is seasonal in nature, commercial and residential landscaping, commercial and residential construction or renovations, housing, residential, commercial construction, domestic work, private household, child care, home care, cleaning, natural disaster, home health care. Damn. Manufacturing, warehousing, transportation and logistics, janitorial, laundromat, dry cleaning.
Now stop. You don't even have to go any further. Let's first understand they didn't just come here to work picking no damn tomatoes. Now that you see, based on the bill, that they brought them here to replace you and the work that you've either marched for, fill out application was denied, jobs that you had during the pandemic that you didn't go back to or you were fired from, you see these people have been brought here to replace you. When you're talking logistics, we're talking about the trucking industry. When you take the trucking industry from men, you basically just broke the backbone of your male species. And not just for black people. This is happening to all of us all across the scope, right? White, black, you know what I'm saying? It's happening to all of us. When you talk about child care, I know child care providers who are losing their fundings while they're opening up these Hispanic child care services, because whoever has the jobs is going to get the resources for child care. Most people don't understand that. If you are Hispanic, you're not taking your children to a black daycare center, right? And so they're doing is taking the daycare money away from the black child care providers, right? Giving it to those new Hispanic child care providers. And then when the people that they give the logistic jobs and the construction jobs and all those things, janitorial jobs, they drop their children off to those Hispanic daycare centers.
Let me implement this too, because I'm from New Jersey, particularly Newark, New Jersey, and it is a big population of Hispanics, Portuguese, Brazilian, Mexicans. They have cornered, especially the Brazilian and Portuguese, they cornered the market of construction. Now they cornered the market of transportation. This money.
You just read it in the bill.
Yes.
You just read it in the bill.
And this bill was in 2021, but they've been doing this for decades, but they were able to monopolize just in that section alone in that particular state. And they do it in other states. as of the last, let's say, 5 years?
Yes,
Any
yes, yes. Because the Office of New Americans again was started in 2011, right? Now, Dr. Claude Anderson warned us back 25 years ago when they were getting ready to make the move on California. They hadn't even moved on California fully yet. Dr. Claude Anderson, when we were young activists, set us down along with Steve Coakley. They set us down and told us emphatically, when we're long gone, y'all better remember and you better stand up and demand that you are included and not excluded from these different fields that they plan on getting rid of you out of. Now, I want you to go to Cities for Action now. Cities for Action. Cities for Action, right? And like you said, if people want to come up, man, come up and get involved with the conversation. You know, it's very important that we.
You want me to drop the link now?
So about us, I think it's either about us or
Okay.
or no. It's the paragraph, right? No, the where it says cities and counties. Go back up. Okay, read that right there. I can't see it.
Cities and counties. Cities for Action is a coalition. Mute up for a second. City for Action is a coalition of nearly 200 U.S. mayors and county executives across America advocating for pro-immigrant public policies and launching innovative, inclusive programs and policies at the local level.
Now, go to About Us. Hit that drop box About Us. Because I want people to know, and then go to our, when you hit About Us, it should say something about our members or something like that. Go hit the Dropbox again. Hit the Dropbox again. Okay.
Leaders.
Our leaders, right? Now, for anybody who don't believe that your mayor is engaging in your replacement, start reading those cities that you know are black cities. The pictures are going to keep on going by.
And that's the mayor of Newark, Ras Baraka. That was just talking.
But read them based on the ones you know are black cities.
Baltimore.
There you go.
Birmingham, Alabama. Asheville, North Carolina. I don't know if that's black. Atlanta. Albany, New York. Buffalo. Bridgeport, Connecticut. Carrboro, North Carolina. Cambridge, Massachusetts. Center Falls, Rhode Island.
Now you see this lady here, this lady, the one that just passed, that young her. She just recently, when it came to reparations, the funding that was set to go for the task force or something like that, she just took the task. She disbanded the task force and took the money out of it so that they would have a task force for reparations. Her right there. But go to those cities and even if you don't have time to go through all of them. That's why I say, people, get your pens and paper because you need to write this stuff down. So nobody can tell you what I'm saying to you moving forward is a lie. Nobody can tell you what the sister is saying is a lie. You have the information. You have no reason to say that you didn't know that your mayor in Jackson, Mississippi. Why does a Jackson, Mississippi need an office of New Americans as bad as our people are struggling? And he claimed to be this such Pan-Africanist, you know, I'm for black people, but you're going to sign on to Cities for Action and have a New Americans plan? You're going to wipe the people out further than they've all. You're going to starve them into deeper savagery than already is happening, right? And so all of these mayors and county executives are actively engaging in the dismantling and displacement of you.
So, all right. So what I'm going to do is, everyone, please share and hit the like button. I am going to drop the StreamYard link. I do see a couple of questions that I'm going to ask, that they, comments and questions so that Mark could answer.
And if you can, let those pictures of those black mayors keep going across the screen.
Okay.
Because I think sometimes black people have to see that black people are messing them up. They don't believe it. They always think, oh, well, it's the white man, this and the white man. Yes, the white man too now. Don't leave him out of the equation. But don't you think that these black people are not playing just as big of a role as these white folks that you can see. This is not just no white folks doing this to you. These are black people up with the destruction of you. They're gonna keep on, it's gonna keep on going back. Just let it just keep on scrolling by so they can see, because some of these people are gonna see their mayor face come up on this screen. Your mayor is directly engaging in your displacement. This is the mayor of Chicago right here. They are directly engaging in the replacement of you in these cities. Do not be fooled by the black skin on their face.
Let me have
Philadelphia. That's Philly's mayor.
She just got elected, and you know she's cleaning out. I had
San Francisco. Go ahead.
I had a friend of mine. She's cleaning out Kensington area, right? They're going to gentrify it, and then they're also going to bring in the illegal migrants are there in Philly. But she's cleaning out Kensington. She's part of the plan too. So this is for
They're directly part of the mass gentrification plans that are happening all over the country. And as soon as you start pointing them out, then they want to play victim and say you're attacking a black woman or you're attacking a black person. No, we're attacking a sellout. And there's no such thing as sympathy for a sellout. I don't give a damn.
He's the new mayor. Right? He's that young new mayor of Baltimore.
Yes, they all are involved in this, y'all. They all are directly playing a role in the uprising. I mean, the uprooting of our people. Atlanta, Georgia, shameful what they're doing in Atlanta, Georgia, where you had those black elites push all those poor people out of public housing, and now they're bringing illegal immigrants in to give them every resource they need to succeed. Shameful when it comes to those families like the Russell family, the Russell boys. Look, that's the guy from Jackson, Mississippi, right? Jackson, Mississippi mayor, right? And these are not older people; these are young people. Man, you know, sometimes you can see stuff happening with that older mindset, but a younger person, come on, man, you know what I'm saying? They know exactly. Well, all of them, old and young, male and female, they know what the hell they're doing.
I want to get to a question. Thank you so much, Def. Before dishonor, they're receiving healthcare benefits from VA. Veterans are not happy. Thank you, Walter. American.
Hold on, let me say this. Then what we want you to do is help us start organizing. And I'm getting straight to the point because I'm not gonna play with you. Look, it's time for Black America to go red, and not go red in the sense of just voting for some white candidates or voting for Trump. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying run your own candidates. Do not run people under the Democrat Party. You're not going to succeed. Even if you become this elected official, you're not going to get the resources that you need. Go to the other side where it's less convoluted. All right. Go ahead.
Thank you, Walter. What is the name of his organization? At my name, how can people look it up to consider joining? Do you have an organization?
No, I'm just a grassroots. You know what I mean. Right now, it's the you know, Black Chicago going red. Is the movement that we're pushing, and I like to keep it that way, man, because sometimes when you get off into this organizational trip and everybody got one, and so they don't want to join the movement, so we keeping it just as individual citizens. Now you see my Twitter handle. Just friend me on Twitter. Let's make this real simple. Friend me on Twitter. Durham, North Carolina. Now, why do we need an Office of New Americans in these places? Charleston, North Carolina. These places, man, our people have been suffering since the 50s and 60s. Even when these idiots were pushing, when they were pushing for the Naturalization Act to bring the immigrants to the country, our people were suffering. Right? They were suffering then.
Black excellence. I see you. I'm gonna bring you up in a minute. I just want to go through these questions on here. Affirmative action for illegals. Yeah.
Yes. And when you think about affirmative action, so when Clarence Thomas and them got rid of it, what the hell did we give a damn? We weren't benefiting from it. Affirmative action on a small scale was going to some of the look at her. This young lady here is out of Dalton, Illinois. The people are suffering in Dalton, Illinois, and she is a tyrant out there. A tyrant against.
Didn't she have some scandal recently?
Yeah. Stay in a scandal. You know what I mean? But affirmative action, to get rid of affirmative action, we weren't benefiting from it. The few black elites, you know what I'm saying, and their children, they had their little system going on. But when it comes to the mass of people, white women and immigrants were benefiting off this affirmative action. So to get rid of it, we didn't lose nothing.
Thank you, BRC. This is going to be a great show. Yes, thank you. Keith Phil, Trump plans to deport these newcomers day one. Mute her for a second. If you see or hear something, say something. These newcomers could care less about Black America. So, Trump, so with all these new public policies, when he's elected, do these policies go away?
Well, he has the power to reverse a lot of these executive orders, but mainly he has the power for to do mass deportation. That's what we want to happen, and we make no apologies for supporting Trump on this initiative. Right? It's either us or them. They have a country that they can go back to. We don't have a place to go to. These people can go back to their country, and you don't have to worry about breaking up their families because they can take their damn kids with them. Take your kids with you. You don't have to worry about them breaking up your families. And so we don't want to hear no more about their breaking up families. We don't want to hear more. We don't want to hear from the sympathizers that's telling you to go with the Democrat Party because grandmama and granddaddy. I guarantee you, grandmama and granddaddy didn't vote Democrat for you to be a fool or us to be damn fools and give our seat and our homes and everything else to illegal immigrants. Right. And so we're not gonna play this game because grandmama was no. We can't do that.
All right, so I dropped the link. Black Excellence, you the first one, and anybody else want to come up? Just click the StreamYard link. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, Dana? And I want to ask the brother, do you go by the name Unc the God Killer?
Oh no, that's not me.
Okay, because you remind. I just want to make sure because you do remind me of another brother. Your voice kind of sound like his. What is your name, brother? What do you go by?
Mark Carter.
Okay, Mark. Yeah. Okay, great. But I just want to say this, and I just want to get in on the conversation. Great conversation, but a little bit about myself. I'm a black man. I'm originally from Southern California, so I grew up around like a heavy Hispanic population, and stuff.
1 minute. The
What's
mayor.
that?
Let me 1 minute. Let me say this because her face just went by, and I want to say.
Oh, because I was talking. Okay.
Yeah, I want to say this about LA.
Just let him say what he got to say, and then we could go back to the mayor.
Okay. No problem.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I just want to say this, Dana. Yeah, I grew up in Southern California, around a heavy Hispanic population, and I guess by the time I was born, Ronald Reagan had already legalized like 3 million illegal aliens, like back in the mid '80s. So basically, I was born, and I was born, around being around a lot of Hispanic people. Just growing up in Southern California, had a lot of Hispanic friends, and stuff like that, growing up. So to me, being around like a heavy Hispanic population, that doesn't really faze me. And then I had a lot of friends that that were mixed. Like I went to high school with some, they were 3 sisters, and all 3 of them, their dad was black, their mom was Mexican, American, I believe, but they were just these 3 mixed girls who were half black, half Mexican that I grew up with. I went to elementary school and high school.
All right, what is your question? What is your question? All right. He in a matrix. I don't got time for that. Like,
it kind of reminds me of the same conversation that I heard from people who are from California. Maybe or maybe not. He was or wasn't going in that direction, right?
No, I can't. So, Black Excellence, your signal was going in and out. Can you hear me? Black Excellence. Yeah, his signal was going in and out.
So hopefully he wasn't going in that same direction of, well, these people, this was their city, or this was their country, part of the country back in the day. I'm just being honest. I'm not interested in hearing that kind of talk. We are not interested in hearing that type of talk, because that kind of talk is why our people are homeless in California right now. I don't care how many Hispanic friends that I may have. The overall of my people is more important than a couple of friends that I may have grown up with. And if our friendship meant that much to them as it means to some of us, then they wouldn't have engaged in the gentrification of our people. So it basically shows you that they weren't interested in keeping you around based on that friendship, because the numbers show you different. The numbers show you, and I wanted to show LA's mayor, because LA's mayor was able to get elected because she has a Mexican children's father, right? And her relationship with the Mexican community has been based off that. And she was also a congressman who stepped down from being congressman to become mayor of LA. And so, go ahead.
If you see her, just let me know, and then I'll click on it so it is stop right there. And I see on back. Okay, so Black Excellence, or do you have better connection?
Yes, Dana, and I believe we had some lag. And look, let me just say this, Dana. What I really want to say is that, what's going to happen with the black community in the future. I mean, the brother was saying that, we're not going to have a future, or your children's not going to have a future. I don't believe that. I think what's going to happen is a lot of us are just going to get mixed in with the Latin people. If you notice, when they come up here, a lot of times they put them in the same neighborhoods as us. Our kids go to the same schools as them. A lot of our children are dating them now. It's a lot of children, kids in the black community. They got a Latina girlfriend or a Latina boyfriend. I see, especially when you go out to Texas, I see the black women, and they got the Latino boyfriend. Sometimes they got one or two kids, that they've had by him. So it's just going to be a progress. I don't think it's something that, for as much as we talk about this in the black community, I don't think it's something that we should be mad about or afraid of. It's just a natural thing. You put two groups of people together, they're going to mix. They're going to do what humans do, which is make babies with each other. It is what it is. I mean, we can sit here all day and
Let me ask you a question. Are you black?
Go ahead.
Are you a black man?
I'm a black man. I'm a black man from Southern California, Dana.
Okay.
I am. Let me just say this, Dana. At the time,
I can't even mute his mic. I can't. It's too much. It's like, listen, you can't be in your car driving and trying to be on.
Ma'am, look at God. Look at God.
Yeah. So Black Excellence. Let me say this.
God. Oh my God, I can't.
Because the reception, I can't even mute you for some reason. So, now I can.
To be honest with you, I literally cannot take this type of talk coming from our people.
No, let me just say this to his point. I get what he's saying, to where you intermingle, but at the same time, that's not what we're talking about. We're specifically talking about our Black Americans being wiped out, left out. And even if you mute up for a second, Mark, even if you intermingle dating and having kids or marrying, that still waters out your lineage. So, and then take Black off the table, just Americans, citizens. So you have people from all over the world coming through this border illegally. So it's not even about who you're dating and marrying, having kids with. It's about public policies, and you have outsiders coming and replacing us. If you go through history, that's how Rome fell. You know what I'm saying? It weakens your nation. This is not strengthening our nation. So, to your point, is not valid, especially in this discussion on how we're talking about public policies and government.
Listen. that kind of thinking, I mean, the mere fact of him not understanding what you're saying, I mean, I just, this is worse than gentrification. He's okaying, man. Oh man. In New York, our people were literally breeded out of New York by the same process that he is okaying. They were welcoming with open arms to these other people, and these people literally use that along with other tools to wipe them out. And so when I hear Black people speak this way, I would ask them in response, in those areas that used to be predominantly Black American, are those Hispanics engaging in that same activity, vice versa? Are they pushing their children to have children by Black people in Compton and Watts and all those places that Hispanics are taking over? Now, I know the answer is no, but I want to hear it from him being from California, because I'm very clear that they have taken over those Black strongholds and that they're not pushing what he's saying.
Go ahead,
All
Black.
right.
Answer.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. If I can respond to the brother. First off, let me just say this. When I grew up, born in '91, born in Los Angeles, California, and then when I was 5, I ended up growing up in Palmdale, California. But at that time, the Black community in LA was moving all over the place. You had Black people moving to Moreno Valley, Black people moving to the Valley, Black people moving to, up to the Antelope Valley, Black people moving out of state, but you know what I mean? Or yeah, some Blacks are, moving back to the South. So there's been this constant migration. It's not like the Latinos came in and pushed the Black people out. That's not the case. A lot of Black people were already actively freely moving to other places. A lot of them were moving to to the suburbs where they had better housing, lower crime and stuff like that. And the thing
let me ask you a question, brother. Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead, brother.
Those women and children that were killed in Hawaiian Garden and Nicholson Gardens by those Latino gang members,
yeah,
were they moving? Or were they moving?
Let me respond to see what you're doing is you're taking a gang related incident that happened in an extreme. So, brother, you gotta let me finish, brother. If you're gonna ask me a question, brother, you gotta let me finish. You gotta let me finish, brother. Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish and land my plane, and then you can respond.
Let him finish. Let him finish, Mark.
Yes. So what I'm saying, brother, is you talking about what happened with Hawaiian Gardens and all that. The thing is, that was a gang-related incident, and basically, that's a housing project. You're talking about the, people in the lowest, socioeconomic, depressed situations, and what happens in that situation. Okay, I didn't really grow up like that. I grew up, I'm a middle-class guy. I'm a business owner, truck driver and stuff like that. So I didn't grow up, and the high school that I went to,
so we should disregard that happened and just write it off.
I said I don't disregard it. It happened. It's just one incident, okay? But it's one incident, bro. That's just, you know what I mean. You can't take that one incident and project that over the whole thing.
So the 12-year-old kid that was just killed by MS-13. We're going to take that and jumble it up.
MS-13 been killing teenagers for a long time. And they kill their own people too. Okay, look, gangs are anti-social institutions by nature. And the people that they target are the people that they have the most proximity to. So even with a Mexican gang, most of or El Salvador, because MS-13 is El Salvadorian.
Can we go to somebody else? I mean, I can't.
Black excellence. I'm gonna move on to. I got other people.
Let's go to somebody else.
All right, you have a good one, Dana.
Thank you. All right.
I can't engage in that type of insanity. Where
I got two couple other people in here.
Yeah, we talking women and children who were just going about their lives, killed in their homes, you know, and to minimize it down to some gang activity. These women and children weren't involved in no damn gang activity.
Mm-hmm.
If those guys were sent to federal prison because they admitted they had killed these people based on racial displacement. And so when I hear a black man speaking like that, man, I can't stomach that. I just really can't stomach that.
All right, we have
Clarity Dimensions.
Clearly Dimensions. Hello.
How are you? To talk about the incident that he's talking about, on the subject on what you're talking about, I don't think it's a good thing for what's going on with this immigration. He's not telling the full truth about a lot of the Hispanics. I think America has taken this thing overboard, and Black Americans are going to get harmed by this immigration influx crisis, because he's saying like it's going to be a kumbaya. These Hispanics don't even get along. There are a lot of groups that do not get along, like Mexicans, I think, pushed out Puerto Ricans in New York City. You have where Venezuelans don't get along with Hondurans. Here in Philadelphia, they've been going through a lot of issues where they get territorial. So as resources get crunched, and these groups, just because they speak the same language, they don't get along, and they're definitely not going to get along with us. So I'm not saying that Blacks don't engage with Hispanics and create like a relationship here and there, but as we're going through this economic crisis and you're bringing in all of these groups, they don't change the fact of their cultures. They bring their problems here. We're going to have like an explosion of all kinds of, how you say, cultural differences. It's too much. And I think Black Americans, if we don't wake up to what's going on around us, a lot of Black women, men, and children are going to get hurt by this. I don't know what he's talking about. Like, this is some kumbaya fest. It's not. You have in Chicago where they said it can be two toddlers and they're in a police station, and all of a sudden the toddlers, like kids do stuff, and next these two people get into like a literal fist fight until it leads to someone either getting deleted or it's just out of control. So I'm not sure about this kumbaya he's talking about, but you're starting to see it all over. It's starting to even go in places where it's red states. So it's not going to be no kumbaya. I hope that people can get themselves together in our community, vote correctly. Most of all, keep your head on the swivel, because we don't know who's here, but they're not kumbaya, and everybody's coming here to eat. That's literally what it is. And they're letting their prisoners out and everything. So I don't know. He's talking like we're having, this is going to be a wonderful thing. Oh, no, it's not. It's very dangerous. And you need to, Black women in particular, and Black men, but Black women in particular, when you have children, you need to change up the way you walk. We're not used to this. I understand immigrants come in, but not like this. This is a disaster. So you need to change your way of doing things immediately.
Let me say this to you as a Black man. My God-given duties is to protect and provide for women and children. And so when I see danger, when I sense danger, my nature puts me in that protective mode, right? This is my God-given duties and nature to get in that protective mode. No different than you see that male lion when the enemy comes up on that pride. You see that male lion stand up, and that calm and relaxedness that you see in him totally changes. That's what you're hearing coming from me. I don't know what you're hearing coming from that. Men don't operate like that. Men do not operate in that way. And I'm not even gonna spend a bunch of time on this guy. I just want y'all to understand that be careful of the men that y'all engage yourselves with. The level of fear that's in a lot of these guys. The love everybody before they love their own people mentalities. Because, man, you'll never hear me speak like that. I know what these people are about. I live in a community that used to be called Lawndale. And the Hispanics hate Black people so much that they petitioned the city to call them South Lawndale. Therefore, we became North Lawndale. And the high school that sits on their side of the tracks, and literally we stay on opposite side of the tracks. the high school. You cannot give detention to a black child after school. You cannot walk to school by yourself. You cannot walk home from school by yourself. Culturally, because how these people operate, right? And this has been going on 50 years. It's not something that just started happening when they just started coming here. So when I hear a person that whatever your history was with these people, that is not the same history that everybody else has experienced. Don't tell me when it comes to some women and children that were burned out and killed that we're going to kumbaya with the rest of them. Because first of all, y'all better than us. They already know how we play it, you know what I'm saying, with them. And so all this shit, you know what I'm saying, you kill. They didn't do no talk about killing black women and children during the George Floyd riots in Chicago. And a bunch of them died. They died. There wasn't nothing to talk about, none of that. When the sun went down, man, it was nobody knew. Nobody knew. And so I can't take it. I can't even stand to hear a black man who's supposed to be a provider speaking like that. And a protector.
Clarity.
Clarity. Just call me Clarity.
All right, I'm gonna drop you down because I see a couple more other people, and I don't want to keep Mark.
Everyone have a good night, and be aware that it's not just Hispanics coming. Everything is coming, so we got to be aware.
Yeah, everything. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a good one. Bye bye.
Oh wait, who's this? Oh, the one and only.
Hi, how you doing, Dana?
Good. How are you?
How you doing, Mark?
Good. How you doing?
Fine. First of all, don't get worked up because all kin folks ain't skin folks. So, just because he's black don't mean he have the same thoughts of everybody black, because I live here in Los Angeles too, and I don't feel the same way. First of all, the men in Los Angeles, they like to date these Latino girls and different nationalities. They don't like black people. So of course he's gonna feel like that. You should have asked him who is he dating. His wife probably Mexican. Mm-hmm. But anyway, that's probably why he taking up for him so much. But,
I can see that. Definitely I can see that. Look, when men hear other men speak, we read straight between the lines. We can hear it in your dialect. We can hear it in just talking long enough to you. What you protecting. Make no mistake about those of us that are black men. Hey, look, go ahead.
I was raised in the Bay Area with the Black Panthers, so I'm just like you in Chicago. We different. We think different. And we are important. We the first comers.
Press mute when she's talking.
We the first and the last. And it ain't no in between. So we got to protect our neck at all costs by any means necessary. And we can't let nobody come in and replace us. So what we do need to do is get together and tell the folks how we can help each other. Because the young people, I was talking to my cousin the other day, and I asked her who was she gonna vote for. I ain't spoke to her in 5 years, but I just asked her the question just to see what her mind thought was. And she said that them people are not immigrants, they're migrants. And I told her, no, I had to look the definition up for her and for myself to make sure I wasn't giving her no false information. But the youth is important because see, we old. We gonna grow, and once our knowledge is gone, they only gonna know what these people is telling them. So if we don't educate these people right now, it's gonna be too late. Right. And you're right. I'm so happy that y'all having this conversation. I normally don't jump on the line because I know too much about stuff. And so they call people like me crazy because I know too much. So I'm glad you're talking about this, and I want you to tell the people what they can do to help, and especially the youth, because they the ones suffering We fighting, but they suffering, and they suffer is gonna come way after we're gone, and they not gonna know what to do because they erasing the history.
Right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming up, the one and only. Mark, did you want to answer that? Because I'm gonna drop her down, bring up
And
another
I don't know
Yes.
why they don't like us black people. But see, the
Well,
thing about it is, I want to say this one more thing, Dana, before you go. It was a trip how the timing was when they did that reparation task force. Soon as the day that they started telling us about the migrants and showing that it's how they just flooding in was the same day the task force reparation thing was over. And I knew that they wasn't going to give us nothing because what they doing is using everything that we say against us. You know the saying, everything you say and will be used against you in the court of law. Well, that saying is going for us. Everything that the black folks are telling them about us, they using it against us. Y'all have a very nice day. Mark, please answer me before I go.
yes. And so the answer for us is we're slating candidates. We're slating candidates so we have real representation. And then number two, more so than anything, and I'm glad you asked that question because Dana, I forgot to make mention that one of our goals is to demand that we have the same program and plan comprehensively, no different than they have set up for them. And the way to take it and push it is to use their exact plan, everything in their plan, remove immigrant and put us in the plan. And since it's been approved already, we take it and shove it down the throat of our mayor, and y'all do the same thing with the plan with y'all mayor. And so since the plan is about jobs, contracts, housing, and all these types of things, then it fits right into this whole push for reparations when it comes to land and the check and all of that. Because, a lot of people talk about the land and the check, but they forget to talk about the plan for sustainability. When you read the Office of New Americans and the Chicago New Americans plan, that is a plan for sustainability. That's why these people are able to come in these cities and they just disappear because they give you jobs, they give you money for rent, they give you cars, they give you cell phones. I mean, they're giving you the whole package. And so the plan for sustainability goes with the reparations. And so if we're going to start by saying that this same plan, we take your name off and put our name on it, let's start with that as we push toward reparations, right? We're not just going to settle for just that plan. We're saying that we want the resources plus some because we built this country. We are descendants of those that built this country, right? And most of the time when you're in these conversations around reparations and you think that you're just talking to any white people who are anti-reparations, no, these are the very immigrants that came to this country, Irish and Italians and things, and the Jewish community. These are the people that burned our people out. And that's why they oppose reparations, because reparations, they understand that reparations tramples immigration. Let me say that again. They understand that your reparations will trample on their plan for immigration. So quite naturally, they're going to go against reparations.
I'm sorry.
We think the biggest opposition to reparations would be white racist Republicans. Well, guess what? Let me bust y'all bubble. White racist Republicans don't run the Treasury Department, which is where the reparations have got to come from. Jews run the Treasury Department. So if you want to know who's really pushing against reparations,
Jewish people are white, but
I know they are, but I'm being specific.
Right.
Because I don't want people. Because if I say white supremacy to you, who you gonna think about? You ain't gonna think about no Jews.
Yeah. Well, let me just tell you how powerful they are. I don't say the word Jewish too much on YouTube.
I got you. I got you. But
that's how powerful they are to we're trained.
I got you. But I'm gonna take you somewhere.
Which is crazy though, but
so I'm gonna say small hats then. I'm gonna say small hats, right?
I think you added that in the algorithm too.
You know what I mean? Whatever it is, well, you know what I'm talking about by now. But I want people to understand this. If I say white supremacists to you, your mind first click is to think about a Republican or Ku Klux Klansman. If I say gang member to you,
Mhm.
you'll think about black people, right?
Mhm. Right.
Okay, so we don't want to just talk broadly from now on. No, we want to speak specifically to specific groups.
Mhm.
When you're dealing with construction and you're marching against construction, you're going to run into Italians.
Mhm.
That's a fact. When you're dealing with these police departments across the country, you're not dealing with quote unquote white people. You're mostly dealing with Irish people. They control the police departments.
Mhm.
There's different groups that control different things. Stop calling them white. They don't call themselves white. You call them white.
That
They
is
call
true.
themselves
Though,
Irish.
even though the Irish were allowed to be classified as white in 1878.
Only for benefits, but they do not classify and call themselves white.
They call themselves what? Irish?
You know, they call themselves Irish. That's why you have Bridgeport in Chicago. You have Greektown in Chicago. You have Little Italy for the Italians.
I see what you're saying. Yes.
Yes, and if you don't break it out like that, then you won't understand who is moving on you.
Right.
Okay? You must understand and know who is moving on you by their specific group. Stop calling them white.
All right. I want to get to two more people I see here and close it out because I want to keep this in 2 hours. Rashad. All right, I'm gonna drop you down. Let me bring up Commander.
Hey, how's it going, Sister Dana? How's it going, Brother Mark?
Good.
How's things going?
Go ahead.
The question that I would like to ask is, I'm putting a program together in regards to human trafficking and stuff like that. With the influx of these immigrants that are coming into the United States, there's been something heavy on my heart with the missing Black women, children, Black men, and boys that's unaccounted for from our police departments and such of that nature. I will be designing a program in regards to addressing what we should be looking for when it regards to human trafficking and stuff like that. And that's something that I do want to give to people of Chicago, as any Black people that's experienced these influx of immigrants, because they are attacking our people for organs harvesting. They are attacking our children and our women for sex trafficking. Especially like I live in the casino area, in a casino town. So I've seen women, I'll use melanated women in general, because I've seen women who are richly hued, if you get what I mean. I'm a Negro. I'm a Black American man. I stand on Black American business. But I do see other demographics of women that are tied into this culture where when you have these sexy red culture that's running around in our neighborhoods, that's dangerous. That's genocidal for our people. And that's something that I want to convey, is put my heart out there for my people to convey the dangerousness when it comes to these immigrant people, or migrants, or however you want to define them, crossing the border. They're bringing this type of criminality that's not really familiar with us as a group of people, because we don't get down like that. And it's our duty as men. We have to alarm our people about what are the telltale signs, so we can be aware of those type of things. Can you touch upon that, engage with that on that part of the conversation?
Cardi B, immigrant. Nicki Minaj, immigrant. All this lewdness that's coming in that's permeating in the minds of our young girls, mainly because the focus is young girls, just as if the focus was young men during the New Jack City days and all those other movies that were brought out and all those other entertainers. But when you look at this lewdness and this that violent nature and certain heinous murders that happened in New York, where you weren't paying attention that these weren't our people, these other ethnic groups got away with that insanity that they brought to the mindset of our people. And so when you look at, think about Steven Seagal's movie about that Jamaican posse, right? Remember that, right? Think about, like I just said, Nicki Minaj and these are all immigrants. These are not these people. These are not our people, and they put them in the head, hearts, and minds, and the lewdness that they're pushing, and doing this to our young girls, right? Luke from Two Live Crew, sister, right? Luke from Two Live Crew. He's an immigrant. All of this stuff when you date back to the 90s.
Foxy Brown.
Yes, all of them, man. Especially those coming out of New York. You pay close attention to anybody coming out of New York. You must, because a lot of them, even if they're black, one of their parents are Caribbean, right? And so pay attention to who you're allowing your children to listen to, their role models. Pay attention to this. Break it down to them that some of these people, they come from uncivilized cultures, and the things that they're pushing will harm you later on down the line. And you got to do it in a way, because I have all daughters. And so I have to be real delicate when I deal with them, and so that I don't make them feel like they can't come and talk to me, right? And so it's all in love and in a respectable manner, you know what I'm saying? And not being too pushy with them, right? Because they're not as hard as we are, you know what I mean? And so, man, when I say these things to them, it makes them pay attention. And then they'll come back to me and say, you know what, Dad, you're right, man. They're not us. And look at the stuff that they're doing. Look at what they're pushing. And so when you look at all these different entertainers and look at these different movies that they're pushing, now these people are not us, bro. These are not our people. Look, bro, Roland Martin, Joy Reid, the Stephen A. Smith. All these are immigrants, bro. These are immigrants, bro. And at first glance, you would automatically think, well, these are our people. No. And they're not only are they not our people, they are aligning themselves with the bigger immigrant agenda that they know is undermining and replacing us.
Thank you, Commander.
Wait. I just want to respond back to him on something that I want to make them aware about, or our community aware about. It's that some of these immigrants have fake credentials, and they're getting into the healthcare profession around our people, around our loved ones. And so when they talk about the genocidal effects of Black women with miscarriages and stuff, this is coming from these type of immigrant groups. All right, I'm just going to keep it 1,000 with people.
Think about the pandemic when you couldn't come see your loved ones. Think about the fact that you had a lot of fake nurses. And we seeing where these foreigners are being exposed for having fake certificates and degrees and all these types of things. So imagine what happened to our people at the hands of these type of people during the pandemic. Just let that sink in.
Yeah. I have my father that died, who died during the pandemic, and that was one of the things that kind of hit home with me, that these people are, and I am going there. These individuals don't have the credentials, and at the same time, they're blocking out our Black intellectuals who do have those type of standards, do have those qualifications. They're blocking them out either by language. They're blocking them out because they feel like they're a double minority, or however they follow by with the diversity, equity, inclusion models and stuff like that, which ends up hurting our numbers when it comes to Black doctors, professionals, and stuff of that nature that are in the interest of our community. And that's one of the things I just wanted to convey, and the reasons why I'm directly against any form of immigration, because they're taking any job away from the Black young man who did go to school, who did do the right things. We're getting blocked out of these positions where we can't even make the revenue that's needed so that we can be competitive for our company, so that we are for our community, and so that we can build institutions in the image of our people. That's the reason I'm probably one of the few brothers that's from those educated side of the tracks who do see these type of effects on at these grad schools. I argue with these people all times about structural racism and stuff and it's mostly immigrants that I'm fighting against. I'm not even dealing with white folks on that level. I'm normally dealing with people from India, China, Latinos, the Dominicans, the Puerto Ricans. The list goes on. These are the type of individuals that I battle against in the classroom on the daily basis. So So that's just some of the things I just want to convey to you about, brother. And I appreciate, I might not agree on everything. That's not my business. My business is to be supportive to a black man who's standing on the interests of our community based off his geographic area. My fight is not your fight, but the only thing that brings us together is that we have the same lineage pumping through our veins. And the more that we get on code like that as a community, the better off we will win, and we will be victorious at home and abroad, because that's what our ancestors do.
Thank you, Commander. I appreciate you coming up. What'd you say?
I said, peace out, Dana, and peace out, Brother Mark.
All right. So, that was a great comment. We're going to start winding it down, but I want to play this clip. And I want to get your comments on it. And I want to talk about, all roads lead to Chicago, the DNC convention in August 2024. So let me just play this clip.
If you're working, no more money for you. Bye-bye. Go back across the board. No more money for you. It's lazy. You lazy. No more money for you. Take your podcast.
Okay. So that was in Chicago, and I'm pretty sure he was probably an illegal migrant. But so I just wanted, what the attitudes have you experienced or seen or heard of that type of attitude coming from these immigrants, the ones that are legal and the ones that are illegal?
They wouldn't dare talk to black men in that manner. Okay. And for him to be a person who can barely speak English and saying that our people are lazy and there's no more money for you, that means that somebody who speak perfect English have said those things around him. No different than a child, no different than a little child that says certain things out of their mouth. They say it because they heard an adult say it. And so in this case, they heard some legal immigrants saying those words out of their mouth in order for him, who can barely speak English, to be reciting that, regurgitating and parodying what's being said. Now, and as we leave here tonight, I'm glad that you played that as we were leaving out, because this is what needs to be stuck in our minds. When you hear a black man talking this kumbaya stuff, he needs to see and hear the mindset of this guy who said, no money for you, you're lazy, and fan a black woman off. Look, August 19th through the 22nd. And we're going to pick which day that we really want everybody to come into Chicago, because a specific day is more important than anything, right? Even though the Democratic National Convention is from the 19th through the 22nd, we want to pick a specific day because everybody may not be able to get there for those 3 or 4 days, 3 days, should I say, because it's going to be hard to find hotels. I mean, it's enough with just the Democrats coming. And so if we talking about bringing in 100,000 people in red shirts, it's going to be hard. And so I thought about it long and hard, and so I want us to pick a day that everybody, maybe those who can drive in.
I would say this because I need to go to a couple more questions that people did send in, but I feel as though people, not just in Chicago, but throughout Illinois, black, white, American citizens, especially white. Yeah, but definitely if you live in Illinois, if you live in Chicago, you don't got to worry about the hotel. So your presence should be there. I would say every day, but outsiders like us coming in, it's like, let's.
But what I want to do, sister, is pick a day for a mass press conference. See, they expect for us to go and try and bum rush the Democratic National Convention like 1968. No. That is not our win. Our win is to take the masses of people that meet up with us, and we go in the opposite direction into the community to go talk to the people. after we do a mass press conference. I hope it'd be 100,000 people standing out there in red shirts to do a mass press conference.
Mm-hmm.
And after that press conference, we move straight into the neighborhoods that are adjacent to the Democratic National Convention.
Okay.
See, they want us to operate in a way to where they can lock a bunch of people up. No.
Right.
That's not what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
We know you're gonna have 10 layers of fence up already because you know what I'm saying. The Democratic National Convention is in the hood. They literally have it in the hood. United Center is in the heart of the hood, right? And I'm talking about if you went to the furthest end of the Democratic National Convention, it wouldn't take you but 5 minutes to reach the city limits, right? Going back west. And so this is about us instead of going east toward the Democratic National Convention. No, we're going west to go talk to the people, to expose what's happening at the Democratic National Convention and expose that the Democratic National Convention is about the displacement of them. We want to take the people into the communities of Chicago that are adjacent to this, and we want to take and go live. We want people to be filming as we go and walking through the entire west side of Chicago, educating and let the world see what is going on with this Democratic National Convention coming here. There's nothing good when coming out of it when it comes to Black Americans. Okay, right. There's nothing good when I'm talking about the masses. And let me say this last thing, because be on the lookout for the two names that they're trying to replace Joe Biden with: Michelle Obama and J.B. Pritzker. Okay.
All right. And this is what I'm saying. We don't got to talk. I'm not trying to squeeze everything in because I want you to come back next week. I'm
going to come as many times as we
can.
Because this is ongoing education and organizing. Right. You know what I mean? We have to keep this going.
Thank you, Kim Fields. Notable Blacks like Ted Hayes, Rita Walters, Carl Washington, E. Loza Foster all tried to warn Black folk out here for real and Kali about the invasion after Reagan signed that amnesty bill in 1886.
1986.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sorry, 1986.
Yes.
What do we do, Mark? And you kind of answered that.
Yes. So let me say it again. We want to take the plan that's on the books already, put our name on the plan, right? The plan is worth billions of dollars in jobs, contracts, housing, education resources, investment opportunities, access to loans and business startups. All of this is comprehensively condensed into this plan, right? And so what we want to do is take the plan, take the immigrant's name off it and put our name on it. We don't want to rewrite a new plan. That takes too long, and then they're going to want to go back and forth.
But their plan is really our plan anyway.
Exactly. It's the number of the Freedmen's Bureau anyway. And so the thing is for us to take that plan along with the bigger plan of reparations and connect the dots. So we're talking the land, we're talking the check, as well as the overall comprehensive strategy for sustainability. You cannot have reparations or anything else without a plan for sustainability, because all that would do is you would take the money and give it back to the very people you just marched against to get it. Right. And so when you have that plan, like the Office of New Americans and the Chicago New Americans plan, it puts you at a strong advantage.
Right.
To become Tulsa and all those other communities across the country that our people had before those Irish and Italian immigrants came in and burned them out during the 1919 riots.
Should African Americans welcome Haitian and Africans?
No. No, we're not African Americans. For political purposes,
actually, I am
not African Americans.
In the title, I am going to put Black Americans instead of African Americans.
Yes.
Look, if it don't get monetized, it doesn't matter.
And maybe he wasn't here to understand where I'm coming from with this. And when we read the list to show that African International House and the United African Organization and other immigrants are partnered with the other immigrants, whether they're Hispanic, whether they're Jewish, whatever they are, they're all partnered together under this immigrant plan.
Right. What about Little Mexico? He was at somebody else. Okay, sorry about. Thank you, Tomcat. Love your content, Dana, Jersey girl. Much love from Shah.
No, he just spoke of the back of the yards, right? Back of the yards is a Hispanic neighborhood where they're no different than Little Village. They have been pushing on our people. They're trying to conquer further south into the Black areas. And so the thing is to be mindful, and y'all stop all that fighting with one another out there in Motown and all those places like that, and come together, because if you don't watch them in the back of the yard, they're gonna be in the back of your damn yard.
Okay. Tomcat again. The Irish messed up Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, and Boston. They discriminated harshly.
Exactly. And so when you see the police and fire, you see all these different things, you're gonna run into the Irish. You know, plumbing, the plumbers, most of them are Irish. Local 130 here in Chicago.
Right.
You know, and so yes, the discrimination is real. Since the Davis-Bacon Act was passed, where the AFL-CIO approached Davis and Bacon, those two congressmen, to put the Davis-Bacon Act in place to block descendants of slavery, those who had just came out of slavery. In this case, they just come out of slavery, and the AFL-CIO worked with those two congressmen to block our people from being able to work in the trades for the high-paying jobs that were then formed.
He said that with Fred Hampton's "Power to the People" quote on his chest. I don't know what you're referring to. Who said? I don't know who he's referring to. But whatever. They're trying to take Austin
neighborhood now. So Austin
is that in Chicago too?
Yes. If he's talking about Chicago, because it may be another city that there's an Austin, but we have an Austin neighborhood, and he's correct if he's talking about Chicago. They're trying to take that as well.
All right. So we at the 2-hour mark, 2 hours and 2 minute mark. Okay. I had Mark Twitter on the screen for a very long time. Go follow him on Twitter, on X, and I need to change that, but on X.
So when you have car roll, is that a 0 or
no? It's a 0.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's Mark Carr 05857411, and when you start putting in at Mark Carr, it'll pop up, but it's 05857411. Or type in Mark Carter, and you want to see a whole bunch of stuff come up. Follow him on Twitter. Definitely gonna have you back here next week.
Everybody, follow me on Twitter. Any information that you want as we go into August with this Democratic National Convention, drop a line, drop a question.
Yes.
You know, and sister, I'm very thankful that you reached out. I mean, oh man,
I've been doing the illegal migrant content for a couple of months now. And I noticed that people that have been listening or commenting are from Chicago. And then the more I get into it, and it was doing good numbers. So that's why I kept doing it. But then now I'm noticing that when I say algorithm, they are underhandedly, I think, trying to quiet people that's talking about it, because it's a lot of.
Well, what they're attempting to do is keep it isolated to your city instead of the algorithm showing that this is the explosion and invasion happening all across the country. And so they want to minimize it. The way they minimize what happened here during the George Floyd riots. Most people on social media don't know what happened during that time.
No, and that's one. Yes, you're absolutely right, because it's a lot of things that happen in Chicago that we don't know, and this is what I want to talk about next week, because we didn't really go into the history of Chicago. I want you to talk about what happened during George Floyd, the riots, and everything else.
And if you want to do this more than just once a week, look, this is the top threat to Black America and all of America. This is the most imminent threat in this country right now, right? And I'm not saying that we respond back in a violent way. I'm saying that we need to respond by closing the border of our communities. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that, every home, every vacant lot, every storefront, lock it down.
Right.
And I make no apologies for saying what I'm saying, especially to the protection of our women and children. Lock it down, because in California, that was the first thing they did while y'all were pushing for reparations. They were locking down every vacant lot, every vacant building, every storefront, every industrial corridor. They were locking down every job. So by the time you get your reparations, there will be nowhere to stay or open up a business.
And then, yeah, because it's like, I don't know if how busy you are, because you own a business, right?
Yeah, yes, but everything is cool. I mean,
Okay.
you know, I have staff and partners, and
Okay.
you know what I mean. And so if you call me and I'm available, this is important. I mean, this is more important than that. Look, you can stay busy running your business and working your job every day, and you're gonna wake up one day no different than the people in New Orleans who were told that the flood was coming, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, right? Because I don't want nobody from New Orleans to take this in a bad way. But our people are so with this, I'm just going to trust in the Lord. Jesus is going to work it out. Well, when you woke up, that water was up to your nose. And so when you get these warnings and it's that imminent, then sometimes you got to set some of this other stuff to the side. You have to put priority out front. You know, when that ship was sinking, when the Titanic was sinking, they didn't have time to worry about what they were going to eat later on that day, or who was going to be playing the goddamn violin or something. Excuse me. You know what I mean? They had to figure out how to plug that hole or drop those little boats. You know what I'm saying? So they can live.
And they was issuing a cash system as the Titanic was sinking, because all the wealthy people had to get off first.
Yes. And so this is about us looking at this most imminent threat, organizing to make sure that it doesn't invade and totally take over. Because if you sleep on it because you're so busy and you feel that, well, I got to pay attention to how I'm going to feed my family, you better figure out how to merge the two.
Yes.
For you be dinner.
Thank you so much, Mark Carter. All right, so we'll come up with something, not just on Wednesdays. Let's say Tuesday, Wednesday, have you on. It could be an hour, 30 minutes, whatever time that you could give if you are available. But definitely gotta have you come back, because there's so much. And all
you have to do is call me, and
I'll definitely call
say,
you.
hey, look, can we go on at such time?
Okay.
And then yes.
All the links that we went over, I'm gonna put it in the description so everybody could go and do the research and read it yourself. Last remarks, Mr.
So if we can, right here in Chicago, we do a Zoom call, or we do what's called teach-ins. And those teach-ins basically do what we just did here tonight. We go through the documents. We give opportunities to those who are on that Zoom. Just look for parts that you find that pique your interest, and that way everybody gets a chance to participate. But sometimes people don't like to hear me and you. They're not gonna want to just hear me and you do a whole lot of talking, right? And so when you were bringing people up and on the things that they've heard or things they may have read, then they can come and express it. I mean, and so let's do this.
And also share what's going on where they live at too.
There you go.
Yeah, because I didn't.
As much as this is possible, let's make it happen.
Right. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mark Carter. I really appreciate you, and I'm glad that we are in touch, and we want to stay in touch. And I'm gonna have you back on here more often. Thursdays I do a show, and I do it on my website with the judge. I want to have you, if not tomorrow, definitely next week on a show with.
Let me ask you a question. Were you down in Memphis when Judge Joe Brown went to that church when the candidates they were running?
No, I wasn't there.
Oh, okay. Because I was there speaking with him.
Okay.
Yeah,
you were
part of that panel. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was actually my family's church.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, maybe I need to get you on the show tomorrow. Let me know if you're available tomorrow night.
Okay, no problem.
And because I'm pretty sure he'll remember you. And I think
definitely.
Great discussion. So I'll contact you tomorrow to ask you about the times tomorrow evening. We usually start 9, which is 8 your time.
Cool.
And yeah, and we'll just make it happen for tomorrow.
Let's do it.
All right. Thank you
for
so
having
much,
me.
Mark. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you to everybody that, first of all, that donated. I love you most of all. And everybody that came up to speak, everybody in the love room, everybody watching on X, love you guys. Isaiah Washington, everyone, thank you so much. This was a great show, very informative. I am going to put the links in the description so you guys could go and read it. And we will see you tomorrow on the website. That is therealdananetwork.com. Subscribe to the website. And Mark, if he is available, will be on the show with Judge Joe Brown. So go to the website, therealdananetwork.com, and sign up. And everybody have a wonderful evening. See you tomorrow.
All right.